The Premier League is back. The new season is here finally after what was actually a pretty short break. And it is around this time of year when everybody starts posting their Premier League predictions. And I'm going to do the same today. I think the main reason for this is so that we can all look back on them in May and just see how wrong we all were. Well, let's see how wrong I'm going to be. Here are my predictions. Okay, let's go to the top of the table. Are we thinking... The smart call, I think, well, the realistic call here is to say Manchester City. Other than that, though, it's one of these two teams. Do we all agree on that? It's Liverpool or City to win the league here. Maybe this is my Liverpool bias. Maybe it's my Liverpool bias. However, I've got a little feeling this could be the year. And I'll tell you for why. I think City have lost a little bit of depth. I think losing... Jesus, I think losing, and actually a lot of this will come down to what happens with Bernardo Silva towards the end of this window. But losing Jesus, losing Zinchenko, losing Sterling will be big losses for City. Obviously, they've also signed Haaland. Obviously, that's going to be a thing. So maybe that does push them back over. But the lack of depth coupled with the 5 substitutes, though, I think maybe pushes Liverpool towards the top of this. Maybe. But then again, are they one midfield injury away from playing a teenager there? And or James Milner? They are, which is maybe why you go back to this. I think in my heart, obviously says Liverpool. My head just about says Man City. But only just about, I'd say. I don't think it's as cut and dry as maybe people often think it is before the start of the season. By the way, do you remember at the start of last season when people were putting Liverpool outside the top 4th? Or 4th in the league because of how poor they were the season before with the injuries. Maybe that injuries thing is the thing. I do think City might regress. I mean, going off, I know that City didn't play any pre-season games whatsoever, did they? But going off that pre-season, there was certainly... They certainly weren't as good as they have been. And the Community Shield I'm talking about here, but obviously they hadn't played a pre-season, had they? Lacking outlets these days. Potentially, like, Sterling would get them out of a lot of issues by getting a goal. Yeah, Alvarez looks great, though. Haaland obviously is a baller. I think Calvin Phillips is a smart signing, too. I think he's really good. But yeah, we're going to go City and then Liverpool, I think. And those two, I wouldn't be surprised if it went either way, to be honest. Next, let's look at third. Do we agree? Do we think that? Tottenham in third? Or do we think Chelsea in third? I think it's going to depend a little bit on what happens with Chelsea towards the end of this window. I think Spurs' recruitment has been better, but I think Chelsea are still Chelsea, and I think Spurs just edge it right now on paper. I agree, and I think Conte's excellent. So I might go Spurs third here and Chelsea fourth, although I would not be surprised if Chelsea push to there. I think Koulibaly, if he's good, it will help, won't it? And if Sterling settles in, then they're going to be great. I'm still a bit worried about the Havertz striker thing. It's almost like they want to play a false 9, but he's absolutely not playing as a false 9, isn't he? I think Arsenal being here is very true. I think it's one of these. The order here will be interesting. I'm going to put Spurs third, and I'm going to put them there because of Son and because of Kane. That's where I think they edge it over Chelsea. And I think with the smart... I don't know how good Longley is, basically. If they have improved defensively, I think Spurs edge it. With Chelsea not having any centre-backs, they need to go and sign a Fofana or somebody. So for now, I think that goes there. If Chelsea sign Fofana, maybe they go back above. For now, I'm going to go Spurs there, then Chelsea. Arsenal are going to be fifth. And I don't think this is going to be a far away fifth here. I think this is a fifth where they'll be pushing for that top 4. I think they're quite good, Arsenal, these days. They've still got a young team where you think of like Brendan Rodgers when he had Liverpool playing well. Every now and then they'll throw in a loss against Bournemouth or something. I think Arsenal's recruitment's been good as well. I think Zinchenko helps them. I think Jesus will score a lot of goals in the Premier League. I think in pre-season he's looked really good, hasn't he? And then where do we look? Do we do Manchester United in there? Who's in the picture for 6 here? Are we talking West Ham? Are we talking Newcastle? I think they might just be somewhere off it. Are we talking Villa if they get their act together? Are we talking about... I mean, I was going to say Leicester, but Leicester are in a funk at the moment. They're in a situation, as we talked about previously. What are we talking about for 6 here? I think Manchester United will be better. I think Sancho will be better this year. I think Martial's going to have a bit of a second breakout year. I think Ronaldo will still score goals for them if he sticks around, which I think he probably will. Seems a bit late to go and do like a mad Ronaldo transfer. I still worry about their centre of midfield. They don't have a centre of midfield. Who plays alongside an Eriksen? Because Eriksen doesn't join Manchester United unless he's going to get a lot of game time. But Eriksen doesn't do a lot of defensive admin. Who plays alongside him? Fred? I think Fred's an all right player. De Jong coming in. I've predicted that De Jong will join. But like again, defensively, who plays alongside him? Do they have a defensive midfielder? I think I'm going to do it this way around. I think we're going to go United 6, West Ham 7. West Ham are tough to predict. For all season last year, whilst they were in around here, I was kind of expecting them to fall away. And then they didn't, which is credit to them. But are they... Do they have the quality that maybe you expect them to I don't know. They are hard to predict. Scamacca will have to be good for them. Will Scamacca actually be good for them? Will he be Haller point version 2? Maybe. It seems a bit panicked, the Scamacca signing. I don't know. It didn't seem like they were linked with him all of the window. And then he was obviously being touted and offered to all these Premier League clubs. And it seemed like West Ham went, oh, right, we didn't get this person. We didn't get Broher. We didn't get this person. Let's go and get Scamacca. Didn't seem like it was one that is thoroughly thought out. And I always worry about those signings. They could obviously go one of two ways, couldn't they? I think it depends on the European run because that ruined them last year. It did, which is maybe why 7th is about fair. I think there's a lot of quality in that squad. Souček, Bowen will still do well. Antonio does a lot of hard work for them, and in and around Scamacca, if he does hit the ground running, 7th I think is probably about right. And I think I'm going to put Newcastle 8. I don't know if we'll see the form that Newcastle produced at the end of last season. However, they've signed some footballers who are quite good, and I expect them to add a couple more as well. I think they'll go and get like a Cornet to boost them from Burnley as well. I think they might go and sign like a Broher on loan maybe still. If Chelsea do bring in a striker, maybe they don't. Maybe Broher ends up playing football for Chelsea. I'm not sure. I think I'm going to keep Newcastle as 8th here though. I think that's about fair. I think they'd be happy enough with that as well. I think if Newcastle finish in the top 10 this year again, I think it's a good solidifying season for them, aiming hopefully maybe sneak into one of these European spots. But to be honest, what they want to do is be able to buy good footballers, but they can't buy them all at once, can they? So I think 8th is probably about right for them. Maddison will boost them as well. I think Maddison will be a good signing for them too. What are we saying for 9th here? Who comes 9th out of these teams here? Should we do a little bit of sorting here? I'm gonna put the promoted teams down here, which is maybe slightly harsh, but let's do a little bit of sorting, and I think they'll probably go up there. Let's move those there just to help. Who's 9th here? Brighton or Palace? I think Palace are quite good. I like Palace. Brighton are always there or thereabouts. I'm very worried about Brighton's strike force. Who scores goals for Brighton this year? I think Mopé might leave as well. Who like they've signed who is their striker for Brighton? Undav or Mopé? Who scores their goals, and what was their issue last year? Scoring goals. All the XG, they couldn't put the ball back into the net. Yeah, so I'm not convinced on Undav, which is why maybe I go with Palace over them. Maybe Palace over them, just because I think actually they're quite an exciting young team. They've got some really good players in there. Eze, Elise, again, striker. Who scores the goals for them? I don't think Mateta is the guy. I don't think Edouard is that guy. I don't think... I mean, Benteke is that guy. Wolves finish above all of these clowns. I'm a bit worried about Wolves because they were really good for the first half of the season and then fell away massively. Massively fell away, didn't they? Raul is out for a week. Is Raul going to be back? Because, again, I'm a little bit worried about Wolves. I'd put them around here. Vardy will be fit for half a season, score 15 goals, which will be Leicester top half. Yeah, I wonder what to do with these. 9th, Palace, 10th, Brighton. I just worry about Leicester. They're too good to be here, really. But if they lose players before the end of the window, are they too good to be there? I'm going to put them 11th, I think. And then I might do Wolves and Villa here, which seems harsh, but it is quite a muddy mess around this part of the table, isn't it? Who goes where here? Like Wolves could be there quite easily, but they could also be here. Brighton losing Basuma and Cucurella. That's maybe true, actually. Maybe we bump Brighton down 1 because I am worried about their strike force. And we do Palace, Leicester, Brighton, Villa. But again, I'm not particularly impressed by what Gerrard did. Started great, but then did fall off a cliff. They need to get Bailey firing, Villa. They need to get him playing games and doing things because I think he struggled. I think the rest here is kind of the order that I think it's going to be in. I think I'm going to put Villa above Wolves. Maybe harsh on Wolves here. I could see them finishing 10th, 8th. But again, I'm going to put them here, I think. Brentford a tad high. Yeah, I'm wondering if Brentford go down a couple. I think Everton can't be as bad as they were last year either. But who goes above them? I'm worried about the rest of the teams here. Bournemouth are mudded. Let's go backwards up then. Let's switch it a little bit. Bournemouth have done no business. And they were the second best team in the Championship last year. At least Forest have given it a go with their signings. We've seen, though, do they do a Fulham where they spend a load of money and then drop down? Bournemouth I worry about. They're also relying on Dom Solanke scoring Premier League goals, which I don't think is where anyone should be. And I like Dom Solanke, but yeah. Lingard, Awoniyi, and Johnson is a class front three. I think I probably agree. Johnson and Awoniyi as 2 strikers. Lingard just behind them. I quite like it. I think Forest stay up. Maybe we need to drop them, move them a little bit higher. Fulham, however, finished. Do you reckon Fulham are finished? Some of their signings have been smart, I think. You worry about Brentford without Eriksen? What are we thinking about Southampton? Are we thinking this then? Fulham and Forest could go either way. It depends if Mitrovic scores goals, isn't it, really? Forest, 18th. I mean, they could sneak past a Brentford here. Brentford, if they go and sign like a Damsgaard helps, they have lost Eriksen. And it was Eriksen that made them good again, wasn't it? I think Brentford gets serious second season syndrome. I think you might be right as well. Brentford looks high without Basuma. Yeah, maybe Brighton is a tad high. I think Everton 14th is my punt here. That's the one place where I'm maybe taking a little bit of a punt. This is what I'm doing. We're sticking with this. We're going Manchester City to win the league. Although I said it will be close between Liverpool and them. I could see Liverpool winning it again this time. Spurs 3rd. Chelsea 4th. Arsenal 5th. United 6th. West Ham 7th. Newcastle 8th. Palace 9th. Leicester 10th. Brighton 11th. Wolves 12th. Villa 13th. Leeds 14th. Everton 15th. Southampton 16th. Brentford 17th, and I've gone for all 3 promoter teams in the relegation zone. Forest in 18th, Fulham 19th, and Bournemouth 20th.
The best kind of Clayts.
I don't know if you agree. We don't agree. As lots of you have said. Those are my predictions. Let's go back to this horror show. There you are then. Those are my Premier League predictions for the 2022-23 season. Let me know your thoughts in those comments down below. Let me know where you think I was wrong. Let me know if you agree with any of my shouts in there. You can see we had a bit of a chat about this over on the Twitch channel. If you want to join in with football chats like this, it is twitch.tv/Clayts. We're doing lots of extra streams at the moment because it's the summer holiday. So jump in. The link to that is in the description. But most importantly, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a like on it. But most importantly, have a lovely rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.